Every morning is a new chapter, and how you start it can determine the course of the entire day. Upon waking, the body is particularly vulnerable, like a fragile vessel requiring careful handling. Overnight, as you sleep, the body loses moisture through breathing and skin. This process is natural, but with age, especially after 60, it becomes more critical. The elasticity of blood vessels decreases, digestion slows down, and the kidneys no longer function as efficiently. Ancient Roman physicians asserted, disease enters us through habits, and one of the most important yet often underestimated habits is drinking water. It can be a source of health or a cause of problems, depending on how you approach it. One of the most common mistakes is drinking cold water immediately after waking up. It might seem quickly invigorating, but for an aging body, it can be like a sudden shock. Cold water constricts capillaries, and the stomach experiences stress, which can trigger spasms or even sudden spikes in blood pressure. This is especially dangerous for people with hypertension. In contrast, Buddhists who practice meditation and morning rituals begin their day with warm water, around 86 to 104 degrees Fahrenheit. This gentle ritual awakens digestion, activates the liver, and helps the body smoothly transition into the new day. But that's not all. How you drink water is equally important. Quickly, in large gulps. This creates an immediate load on the heart, sharply increasing blood volume, which can lead to swelling or blood pressure fluctuations. This is especially dangerous for those with heart failure. It's much wiser to drink water slowly, in small sips, paying attention to your body's sensations. Scientists from the Tokyo Institute of Gerontology confirmed that drinking water slowly improves blood flow to the brain in the elderly. The third, but no less significant mistake, is taking morning medications with water on an empty stomach without knowing which drugs require food. Some medications can irritate the stomach, causing nausea, heartburn, and in the long term, even ulcers. A reliable approach is to consult your doctor and clearly understand what you can drink in the morning and what only after eating. This is especially important if you take more than 3 medications daily. Many people add lemon, baking soda, or vinegar to their water, following advice found online. But not every stomach can withstand such a test. Lemon increases acidity, vinegar can irritate the mucous membrane, and baking soda disrupts the acid-base balance. This can lead to pain, spasms, and, in the long term, gastritis. In the morning, water should be plain, without any additives. As the sages of Taoist medicine claimed, the pure heals and the complex destroys. But what else do you need to know about proper water consumption? Stay with us, and you will find answers to these and many other questions. Some people naively believe that water alone is enough to feel energetic, neglecting breakfast. However, after 60, this approach becomes particularly dangerous. Skipping the morning meal leads to a drop in blood sugar levels, and the brain does not receive the necessary nutrition, leading to weakness and dizziness. Water is just the first step towards health. After that, you need to eat a light but nutritious breakfast, whether it's oatmeal, an omelet, or cottage cheese. At this age, proteins, vitamins, and slow carbohydrates are especially important, helping to maintain energy and promote tissue repair. There is a simple scheme. Immediately after waking up, drink 1 glass of warm water, about 8 ounces. Drink slowly, in small sips, without adding lemon or other ingredients, considering any medications you are taking, and have breakfast in 15 to 20 minutes. A Nepalese monk once remarked, "If you take care of your temple, start with a drop of water." Simply place a glass of water next to your bed, and every morning will begin with the right action. If you adhere to these principles, you can notice positive changes in just a week. Improved mental clarity in the morning, reduced dizziness, stabilized blood pressure, reduced swelling, improved digestion, and more stable energy levels. This is not magic, but pure biology and consistency. Thousands of people worldwide note similar changes when they incorporate mindful water consumption into their lives. Morning water can indeed boost blood circulation, reduce the risk of blood clots, and gently awaken the body. Warm water, close to body temperature, is particularly beneficial, rather than ice-cold water from the refrigerator. The ancient Romans claimed that the day begins not with sunrise, but with the first sip of water. And there is sense in that. If you have joint problems, consider adding gelatin or collagen to your diet, but not on an empty stomach, and of course after consulting with your doctor. These can include supplements and natural products like jellies, broths, and glucosamine-containing foods. For centuries, Buddhist monks have used rich bone broths to strengthen their bodies in old age, and for good reason. Modern research confirms that the amino acids in gelatin do support joint and ligament health. It's even simpler for the brain. A glass of water plus a breakfast with healthy fats. Walnuts, flax seeds, and fish are sources of omega-3 fatty acids, which improve the nervous system, help with concentration, and support memory. Harvard scientists note that regular consumption of fatty acids and adequate hydration improve cognitive function in people over 60. We can't ignore the importance of caring for the kidneys. They definitely won't appreciate it if you drink a liter of water, especially cold water, before bed. This can lead to swelling and put extra strain on the urinary system, which doesn't function as quickly with age. It's best to spread your fluid intake throughout the day, drinking water in small portions and not saving it for late in the evening. When it comes to the cardiovascular system, the morning ritual is important again. Warm water, drunk slowly, promotes easier blood circulation, reduces blood viscosity, and may even reduce the likelihood of heart attacks. Interestingly, this has become part of a government program in Japan to prevent cardiovascular disease in the elderly. A simple action with a real positive effect. When you build your morning routine with these details in mind, it's not just a habit, but a thoughtful step towards longevity. One glass of water can make a big difference, especially if you understand why you're doing it. It's these small, conscious actions that shape your overall well-being, mental clarity, and energy for the whole day. Another important morning ritual that's often underestimated is light physical activity or simple gymnastics. You don't need to get up and start intense workouts right away. Just stretch in bed, do a few gentle rotations of your wrists, feet, and neck. This movement helps activate blood circulation after a night's sleep and gradually engages the nervous system. In ancient China, it was believed that the body's energy awakens with the joints, and they should be awakened first. Studies show that even 5 minutes of morning stretching can improve mobility and reduce inflammation in older adults. An equally powerful tool is a proper breakfast, especially one that includes protein. After 60, the body loses muscle mass faster, and without enough protein, general weakening begins. Good options include cottage cheese, eggs, sugar-free yogurt, and lean fish. Soft-boiled eggs are an interesting food choice. They're easily digestible, rich in choline, which supports the brain, and contain all the essential amino acids. Scientists from the Netherlands have found that a regular protein breakfast helps stabilize blood sugar levels and prevents sudden mood swings and fatigue during the day. If you add slow-digesting carbohydrates like oatmeal or buckwheat, you'll have a great foundation for energy in the morning. Oatmeal, especially prepared with water or plant-based milk, creates a gentle feeling of fullness, doesn't overload the stomach, and supports digestion. Buddhist monks in Tibet often start the day with warm porridge because it warms the stomach and mind, as they say. Modern science confirms that complex carbohydrates help maintain blood glucose levels and nourish the brain for hours. Many people don't appreciate the benefits of simple warm infusions, such as chamomile, mint, or fennel. These drinks are perfect for the morning, especially if you need to gently stimulate digestion. Infusions can serve as a substitute for water, but they can also enhance its positive effects. Doctors in ancient Rome often used fennel decoction to soothe the stomach and ease digestion after sleep. This is especially important for those who suffer from bloating or a feeling of heaviness. The use of oil deserves special attention, but not the kind we're used to seeing in the pan. A morning teaspoon of unrefined olive or flaxseed oil on an empty stomach can have a mild choleretic effect and improve bowel function. In Mediterranean countries, this is practically a ritual. Elderly people start their day with oil, considering it real liquid gold. Oil is rich in antioxidants and polyunsaturated fatty acids, which have a beneficial effect on the cardiovascular system and skin condition. Aromatherapy can also be an interesting practice. Not for everyone, but for many people, scents are a trigger for well-being. The aromas of lemon, orange, rosemary, or lavender can gently awaken the nervous system and improve mood. Japanese scientists have found that in the homes of elderly people where citrus essential oils were used, anxiety levels were significantly lower, and daytime activity was higher. Just a few drops in an aroma lamp or on a pillow is enough to make it part of your morning ritual. For those looking to improve memory and concentration, consider including rosemary tea in your morning routine. Its essential compounds stimulate brain function and improve cognitive abilities. In ancient Rome, students wore rosemary wreaths before exams, believing it helped them focus. Modern studies confirm that the scent of rosemary improves information processing speed in older adults and promotes concentration. One cannot fail to mention golden milk, a drink made from warm plant-based milk with turmeric. This recipe comes from Ayurvedic tradition, and there is a rational basis for it. Turmeric has a pronounced anti-inflammatory effect, and adding a pinch of black pepper enhances its activity several times over. This drink is not recommended on an empty stomach, but it can be an excellent part of your morning breakfast, especially if you have joint pain or want to support your immune system. In conclusion, one of the simplest yet most effective morning rituals is the practice of gratitude. Just a few minutes dedicated to acknowledging what you are grateful for that day can have a significant impact. It doesn't require much effort, but creates a powerful mindset for the whole day. In the Buddhist tradition, the morning begins with a bow and a mantra of gratitude for the awakening of the body. Modern psychologists view this as a mindfulness practice that reduces stress levels, strengthens mental health, and improves overall well-being. Each of these rituals is simple in itself, but if at least 2 or 3 of them become part of your morning, they will begin to transform your overall state. Regularity, self-care, a gentle start to the day. All this works no worse and sometimes better than medication. One of the most common and underestimated morning mistakes is getting out of bed abruptly. Many people have a habit of getting up instantly as soon as they wake up, especially if they are afraid of falling back asleep or wasting time. However, with age, such abruptness can be dangerous. After a night's sleep, the blood becomes thicker, blood pressure may be unstable, and a sudden rise can lead to dizziness, loss of balance, and even falls. Doctors recommend sitting on the edge of the bed first, stretching, taking a few deep breaths, and rotating your feet and hands. This helps to gently activate blood circulation and avoid a sharp jump in blood pressure. Another harmful habit is skipping breakfast. This is especially common among those who are trying to lose weight or simply do not feel hungry in the morning. But after the age of 60, this becomes not only ineffective, but harmful. Prolonged fasting in the morning can lead to a drop in blood sugar levels, weakness, impaired concentration, and metabolic disorders. Moreover, for older adults, breakfast is a way to stabilize hormonal balance and provide energy for the first half of the day. Lean protein, some fats, slow carbohydrates. All this creates a stable foundation and protects against fatigue and mood swings. Some people start their morning with a cup of strong coffee on an empty stomach, and while this simply invigorates in youth, it can cause serious harm in old age. Caffeine irritates the gastric mucosa, provokes increased acidity, and can cause heartburn, spasms, and with regular use, even gastritis. In people with high blood pressure, coffee on an empty stomach often causes a spike in blood pressure and unpleasant heart palpitations. It is best to move your cup of coffee to mid-morning after breakfast and monitor the amount, no more than 1 or 2 small servings a day. Many elderly people are used to starting their day by watching the news or turning on the television. While this may seem harmless, if a stream of disturbing or negative information enters the consciousness from the morning, the psyche is under tension from the first minutes. This causes hidden stress, increases cortisol levels, and can even lead to blood pressure spikes or anxiety. It is much more beneficial to devote the first 30 minutes to silence, pleasant music, breathing exercises, or a walk. For example, Buddhist monks begin their morning with silence and meditation. This allows them to maintain inner peace throughout the day. Some people start their morning with a cigarette. Even one cigarette smoked after waking up increases vasoconstriction, makes the blood thicker, increases the risk of blood clots, and impairs the supply of oxygen to the brain and heart. In old age, the body functions with less margin of safety, and even a small negative impact on blood vessels can have serious consequences. If it is difficult to quit smoking completely, then at least you should move the first cigarette to a later time and try to reduce the number of cigarettes during the day. It's also dangerous to ignore your body's morning sensations. Older adults often dismiss morning joint pain, dizziness, or shortness of breath as simply due to age and just endure it. However, many hidden problems manifest precisely during the morning hours. High blood pressure, cardiac arrhythmia, dehydration, and worsening joint function. Ignoring these signals can lead to missing the opportunity to address a problem when it's relatively easy to solve. Therefore, it's important not just to wake up and forget, but to cultivate an attitude of attentive care towards your body. Another non-obvious mistake is immediately reaching for your phone. Older adults, especially those who live alone, often start their day by checking messages, news feeds, or social media. However, this information overload essentially hijacks the brain and prevents it from engaging in the day mindfully. Psychologists assert that the first half hour after waking up is a window in which the tone for the entire day is set. It's better to fill this window with something beneficial: movement, breathing exercises, water, calming music, or live conversation if there's someone to talk to. Some people start their day with a large dose of medication, taking it immediately upon waking and washing it down with plenty of water. However, this may not be the best approach, as it puts extra strain on the stomach and kidneys, especially if the medications have an irritating effect on the mucous membrane. Doctors recommend discussing with a medical professional which medications can be taken on an empty stomach and which require food. If the number of medications taken is large, consider dividing the doses into several stages, avoiding the attempt to swallow everything at once. Another non-obvious danger is an excessively hot morning shower. It can trigger vasodilation, which in turn leads to a sharp drop in blood pressure, causing weakness or dizziness. Special caution should be exercised by people taking blood pressure-lowering medications. The optimal option would be to choose a warm, comfortable shower, avoiding prolonged exposure. Contrast procedures are best postponed to the afternoon when the body is fully awake. Overeating at breakfast is also a common mistake. After abstaining from food overnight, many people try to compensate for the deficit by consuming large quantities of food. This puts a significant strain on the digestive organs, such as the stomach, liver, and pancreas, especially if breakfast consists of fatty foods, processed meats, fried foods, or excessively sweet dishes. After the age of 60, the body no longer processes food as efficiently. Such overloads can lead to fatigue, a feeling of heaviness, and even nausea. It is much more beneficial to make breakfast light but nutritious and add a small snack after 2 to 3 hours if necessary. One shouldn't forget about washing one's face with cold or cool water in the morning, which some older adults forego, limiting themselves to a warm shower or simply wiping their face. However, a light splash of cool water can not only invigorate, but also activate skin receptors, strengthen blood vessels, and even improve the functioning of the nervous system. This is especially relevant for people prone to apathy, chronic fatigue, and sleep disturbances. In the Tibetan tradition, morning ablutions with cold water are considered a ritual of awakening the spirit and body, a means of cleansing thoughts and preparing for a new day. It is important to avoid hypothermia, starting with cool water for the face and hands, gradually moving to a short rinse or contrast shower. A dangerous behavior is withdrawing into oneself, complete silence, and isolation in the morning hours. Although it seems to many that morning is a personal time, older adults have an increased need for gentle emotional contact during this time of day. Those who start the day alone without communication often experience feelings of emptiness, anxiety, and even depressive states. Studies show that older adults who spend at least a few minutes in the morning communicating with loved ones, friends, or even neighbors are less likely to suffer from cognitive decline and depression. Live communication or even a phone call helps the brain wake up, activates memory centers, and creates a sense of inclusion in life. An overabundance of information first thing in the morning is another trap. Many people turn on the TV, radio, or open social media immediately upon waking. As a result, the brain is confronted with an avalanche of news, advertising, other people's emotions, and events that can cause irritation or anxiety. This is especially sensitive for older adults who already have reduced adaptive capabilities of the psyche. Starting the day with overload increases stress levels, impairs concentration, and interferes with tuning into one's own sensations and tasks. A healthier alternative might be reading a book, taking a walk, keeping a gratitude journal, or simply enjoying silence. Some elderly people start doing housework immediately after waking up, washing floors, doing laundry, lifting weights, wanting to be helpful and not waste time. This is commendable, but the morning is not the best time for physical exertion, especially without a preliminary warm-up and with unheated muscles. Sudden activity can cause overexertion, back pain, exacerbation of joint problems, or even injuries. The morning hours are better spent on recovery, light exercise, water, breakfast, and then a smooth transition to household tasks. There is also a habit of completely ignoring one's internal state. Elderly people, used to enduring, often do not pay attention to mild nausea, headache, strange heartbeat, or anxious thoughts, especially in the mornings. These sensations can be signals of emerging diseases, blood pressure spikes, heart rhythm disturbances, metabolic problems, or depressive disorder. In this age, it's just a passing thing can be costly. Listening to yourself is a crucial skill. For example, the Roman philosopher Seneca believed that a person who ignores the signals of their body betrays it. Perceiving the morning state as a diagnostic tool helps prevent many chronic complications. Another harmful habit is suddenly turning on bright artificial light immediately after waking up. Especially in the dark season, such bright light can disrupt the natural awakening process, cause headaches, eye irritation, and even lead to mood swings. Ideally, the morning should begin with soft lighting or, if possible, with natural sunlight. Gradually increasing the brightness helps the eyes adjust, and the brain smoothly transitions into wakefulness, avoiding stress. The habit of checking blood pressure and pulse immediately after waking up without a visible reason is also questionable. While monitoring one's condition is certainly important, especially in the presence of chronic diseases, measuring these indicators too often without any complaints can lead to the opposite effect. People start to worry, look for deviations from the norm, even if they are not there, and, as a result, provoke stress and fixation on their health. It is important to understand that well-being should be the primary guideline, and medical devices are only a tool for confirmation, not a replacement for the internal sense of harmony. One of the most beneficial foods for the morning in old age is oatmeal. Simple, affordable, but incredibly valuable. Oatmeal slowly raises blood sugar levels, does not overload the pancreas, and provides a feeling of fullness for a long time. It is rich in soluble fiber, which helps lower bad cholesterol levels and nourishes beneficial bacteria in the intestines. Older people often suffer from slow digestion and constipation. Oatmeal, especially cooked in water or plant-based milk with the addition of flax seeds or prunes, gently stimulates peristalsis and normalizes the function of the gastrointestinal tract. If you add a pinch of cinnamon and a little honey, such a breakfast will become not only healthy, but also a pleasant ritual. The next product is pumpkin seeds. They are easy to underestimate, but they hide a real storehouse of magnesium, zinc, and iron, elements that elderly people often lack. Just 1 tablespoon a day is enough to strengthen the heart, improve sleep quality, and even stabilize mood. Magnesium participates in hundreds of biochemical processes, helps fight spasms, and normalizes blood pressure. If you add a few pumpkin seeds to porridge or yogurt in the morning, it will already be a powerful support for the nervous system. We must not forget about the benefits of kefir and natural yogurt. For the elderly, maintaining a healthy intestinal microflora is of paramount importance, because immunity and overall well-being depend on it. Fermented dairy products are rich in probiotics, which normalize digestion, promote better absorption of vitamins, and help fight inflammation. The combination of kefir with a spoonful of ground flax is particularly effective. This mixture helps to eliminate toxins, gently cleanse the intestines, and improve metabolism. It is important to choose products without added sugar and artificial ingredients. An apple eaten on an empty stomach is a time-tested method. The skin of an apple contains pectin, which envelops the gastric mucosa and helps cleanse the intestines. Apples stimulate saliva production and increase appetite, and also help stabilize blood sugar levels. They can be eaten with nuts or added to warm porridge, thus obtaining a nutritious and healthy breakfast. According to Chinese medicine, 1 apple eaten in the morning is more beneficial than medicine, as it activates the liver and pancreas. An old monastic recipe includes a decoction of ginger root, cloves, cardamom, and mint leaves. This beverage was consumed by Buddhists in the Himalayas before meditation to clear the mind and prepare the body for practice. To prepare it, take a small piece of fresh ginger, 3 cloves, 2 cardamom seeds, and a few fresh mint leaves. Pour hot water over everything and let it steep for 10 minutes. This decoction improves blood circulation, warms the body, eases breathing, and the mint helps relieve anxiety and tension. It is recommended to drink it in small sips in the morning before eating, especially in the cold season. Black cumin is a product known since the times of ancient Egypt. Its oil was used to treat weakness, fatigue, and inflammation. A few drops of black cumin oil added to warm water, or kefir, strengthen the immune system, activate metabolism, and protect against colds. It is also effective for joint problems and high cholesterol. The main thing is to observe the recommended dosage. 1/4 teaspoon in the morning is enough, preferably after a small meal. Nuts are a real treasure trove of nutrients, including omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin E, and antioxidants. Walnuts are particularly noteworthy, having a beneficial effect on health. They strengthen blood vessels, nourish the brain, and improve memory. In ancient Roman treatises, the walnut was mentioned as the food of sages, promoting clarity of thought. Just a few walnut halves added to morning porridge or combined with fruit provide natural support for cognitive functions. Black sesame should not be overlooked either. In traditional Chinese medicine, it was known as the seed of longevity. It is rich in calcium, phosphorus, zinc, and antioxidants. For the elderly, it becomes a real salvation, supporting bone health, strengthening hair, and preserving vision. Black sesame can be lightly toasted in a dry pan, added to cereals and salads, or you can prepare tahini paste, which can be spread on bread or crackers. A special place in the diet is occupied by barley broth. In Japanese culture, it is called water of youth. It normalizes the digestive process, lowers blood sugar levels, and saturates the body with B vitamins. To prepare a healing broth, pour a tablespoon of barley with a liter of water, boil for about 20 minutes, and infuse under the lid. It can be consumed warm on an empty stomach or throughout the day. The broth does not cause sharp jumps in sugar, is easily absorbed, and helps fight chronic fatigue. Chia seeds are another great product for a morning meal. They absorb water, turning into a jelly-like mass that gently cleanses the intestines, slows down the absorption of sugar, and provides a long feeling of satiety. Chia seeds are rich in calcium, omega-3 acids, and antioxidants. They can be soaked overnight in vegetable milk, and in the morning consumed with berries and honey. This is a light but nutritious breakfast, especially useful for problems with digestion or poor appetite. Including such products in the morning diet can significantly improve overall well-being, increase energy levels, improve the functioning of the heart, brain, and digestive system, and most importantly, restore a feeling of vigor and joy of life from the very morning. One cannot forget about figs, which are often underestimated in the morning menu. Dried figs soaked overnight in warm water are especially useful. In the morning it becomes soft, saturated, and its beneficial properties are better absorbed. Figs are rich in potassium, magnesium, iron, and fiber. It helps to gently cleanse the intestines, normalizes blood pressure, and promotes the restoration of the heart muscle. In Mediterranean countries, the elderly traditionally began the morning with 2 or 3 soaked figs, sometimes adding a little olive oil. This combination strengthens the immune system and helps with constipation. Another useful product for a morning meal that cannot be ignored is black beans. In Eastern medicine, it is deservedly ranked among the products that promote longevity. Rich in protein and antioxidants, black beans have a beneficial effect on kidney health, stimulate hematopoiesis, and help fight fatigue. It is convenient to cook it in the evening, and in the morning, add it to vegetable puree soup or warm salad. The combination of beans with turmeric and a small amount of lemon juice brings maximum benefit, which enhances its anti-inflammatory properties. Sunflower seeds, especially sprouted ones, appear as a real storehouse of youth. Sprouts contain active enzymes, B vitamins, vitamin E, and important trace elements. They improve memory, visual acuity, skin condition, and help normalize hormonal levels. Sprouts can be added to cereals, cottage cheese, green smoothies, or simply consumed 1 tablespoon in the morning. In ancient Indian Ayurvedic practice, these living products were considered as awakening food, filling the body with solar energy. One should not forget about persimmon either. This fruit is not only a sweet treat but also a natural source of antioxidants, beta-carotene, pectin, and potassium. Persimmon has a positive effect on heart function, improves vision, supports immunity, and is especially beneficial for vascular problems. The main condition is to choose a ripe, soft persimmon and eat it not on an empty stomach, but 30-40 minutes after drinking water. You can prepare a persimmon salad with nuts and soft cottage cheese for a nutritious and light breakfast that won't overload your stomach. Worthy of special mention is the recipe for an ancient Buddhist morning infusion, practiced by monks in the cold regions of Tibet and Nepal. It included dried goji berries, astragalus root, a few rose petals, and dried tangerine peel. All ingredients were poured with hot water and infused for 10 to 15 minutes. This infusion was consumed in the morning before meditation. It cleansed the breath, supported the lungs, improved blood circulation, and attuned the mind to tranquility. Astragalus strengthens the body's defenses. Rose relieves anxiety. Tangerine peel promotes digestion, and goji berries nourish the liver and improve vision. The infusion has a mild aroma and a light sweetish taste. A morning meal with quinoa is another ancient recipe that comes to us from the traditions of South American tribes. Quinoa contains all 9 essential amino acids, which makes it especially valuable for the elderly. It is easily digestible, supports muscles, and provides energy. Quinoa can be cooked in coconut milk with the addition of banana, dates, and cinnamon. This breakfast nourishes the brain, stabilizes blood sugar levels, and provides satiety for a long time. Ghee oil is also an excellent morning aid. It is a purified butter that is considered the gold of longevity in India. 1 teaspoon of ghee oil in the morning, added to porridge or melted in warm water with turmeric, improves digestion, lubricates joints, and supports the nervous system. Ancient treatises say that ghee nourishes the mind and makes speech clear, and modern science confirms its antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. Honey with turmeric is another morning recipe known since ancient times. If you mix half a teaspoon of honey with a pinch of freshly ground turmeric and consume it on an empty stomach, it will help strengthen the immune system, reduce inflammation in the joints, and gently awaken the body. Turmeric activates the liver and improves blood purification, while honey nourishes the brain and improves mood. It is important to use natural raw honey that has not been heat-treated. The morning of an elderly person can become a time of recovery if it is filled with the right habits and products. Everything that supports the body with gentle care becomes a support for a long and active life. And each of these simple gifts of nature works especially effectively in the morning, when the body is open to perception and ready for a new day. Almonds are one of the simplest and most powerful morning foods. Just 7 almonds soaked from the evening before can provide the body of an elderly person with proteins, healthy fats, and B vitamins. Soaking makes almonds easier to digest, activates enzymes, and reduces the content of anti-nutrients. It has a beneficial effect on brain function, improves memory, and lowers bad cholesterol levels. Almonds are especially useful for those prone to cardiovascular diseases, as well as for age-related changes in bone tissue, as they are rich in calcium and magnesium. In the morning, they can be eaten as is, added to porridge, or ground into a paste and spread on a whole-grain crisp bread. Avocado often remains in the shadows, especially in those parts of the world where it is not a traditional food. However, its rich composition, including fatty acids, folic acid, and vitamin E, makes it truly indispensable for maintaining vascular health and nourishing brain cells. Half an avocado eaten in the morning on whole grain toast or as a puree with a pinch of sea salt and a drop of lemon juice helps stabilize blood pressure, improve mood, and activate mental processes. Moreover, avocado promotes better absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, especially if the diet includes vegetables and greens. Pumpkin seeds are another small but precious storehouse of health. They are rich in zinc, which plays an important role in maintaining immunity and men's health, especially in adulthood. In addition, the seeds contain tryptophan, an amino acid that is a precursor to serotonin, the hormone of joy. In the morning, pumpkin seeds can be added to porridge, smoothies, or yogurt. In Buddhist cuisine, they are sometimes lightly roasted in a dry pan and added to rice with vegetables or to a traditional rice soup in water, which is served in monasteries for a light cleansing start to the day. Another unique morning product is rooibos. This isn't just tea. It's a South African plant that's caffeine-free but packed with powerful antioxidants. Rooibos helps with anxiety, normalizes blood pressure, and supports liver and pancreas function. It's especially beneficial for those who have trouble sleeping or often wake up tired. Simply brew 1 teaspoon of rooibos in a cup of hot water. Steep for 5 to 10 minutes and drink warm in the morning before eating. For an enhanced effect, you can add a piece of dried apple or a couple of goji berries. In the traditions of Tibetan monks, there's a known recipe for a mind-clarifying decoction. It's prepared from a mixture of dried licorice roots, lavender flowers, and fennel seeds. All ingredients are taken in equal parts, about 1 teaspoon each, poured over with hot water, steeped covered for 15 minutes, and drunk in small sips on an empty stomach. This decoction not only improves digestion, but also reduces swelling, improves blood circulation, and gently invigorates without resorting to stimulants. In monasteries, it was drunk before the first meditations, especially in the cold season. We shouldn't forget the benefits of regular oatmeal, but it's essential to choose whole grain rather than instant oatmeal. Such oatmeal contains beta-glucans, which help lower cholesterol, cleanse the intestines, and nourish beneficial microflora. Cooked in water or plant-based milk with added flaxseed oil and apple, this porridge becomes an ideal start to the day. The flaxseed oil in the composition has a beneficial effect on the thyroid gland, and the apple enhances the enzymatic activity of the stomach, especially if it's slightly stewed. An excellent morning product is dried apricots, especially dark varieties that haven't been treated with sulfur. Rich in potassium, they're indispensable for the heart and kidneys, helping to cope with swelling and regulating water-salt balance. 3 to 4 pieces of dried apricots soaked overnight act gently in the morning without overloading the stomach, but providing a slight sweetness and a boost of energy. Buddhist monks often drank a warm infusion of water in which dried apricots had been steeped overnight. sometimes adding a couple of drops of sesame oil. This mixture enhanced intestinal function and cleansed the blood. Coconut water is another interesting product, especially in the hot season. It's rich in electrolytes, magnesium, and promotes the gentle removal of toxins. It's particularly valued in Ayurveda as a remedy for dehydration and overheating of internal organs. It's important that the coconut water is natural and without added sugar. In the morning, it helps kickstart metabolism and provides lightness, especially if there was a heavy dinner or disrupted sleep schedule the night before. Every morning provides an opportunity to take care of your body and mind. The foods that nourished sages and monks for centuries are returning to our daily diet, and their strength lies in simplicity and regularity. It's important to listen to your body, feel what suits you best, and start the day with a conscious choice. One of the most underrated morning products for the elderly is natural yogurt without sugar and additives. It's easily digestible, contains beneficial probiotics, supports healthy intestinal microflora, and promotes a gentle start to digestion. Yogurt is especially beneficial after 10 in the morning, when the natural acidity of the stomach decreases and the microflora changes. It's best consumed at room temperature. You can add a pinch of cinnamon or a little honey if there are no contraindications. Combined with ground flax seeds, yogurt becomes a real breakfast for restoring strength and strengthening the immune system. Black cumin, also known as kalinji, has been used in Eastern medicine for centuries as a means of promoting the awakening of vital energy. For the elderly, it is recommended to consume half a teaspoon of black cumin oil in the morning before meals, washing it down with warm water. This practice activates metabolism, strengthens the vascular system, and helps reduce inflammatory processes in the joints. In Buddhist texts, black cumin oil is mentioned as a remedy for eliminating stagnant phenomena in the body, especially in those who lead a sedentary lifestyle or rarely spend time in the fresh air. Figs, in addition to their taste qualities, are a valuable source of fiber, iron, and calcium. 2 figs soaked overnight stimulate intestinal peristalsis in the morning, promote the elimination of toxins, and nourish the blood. Figs are rich in antioxidants and improve liver function, which is especially important with age. They can be eaten separately or crushed and added to oatmeal along with nuts. Ginger, introduced into the morning diet, acts as a mild stimulant. It activates blood circulation, relieves morning stiffness in the joints, improves liver function, and cleanses the respiratory tract. One way to prepare a light ginger infusion involves using a small piece of fresh root about 2 centimeters long, which needs to be grated and poured over with hot water. It should be steeped for 10 minutes. For improved flavor, a pinch of turmeric and a little lemon can be added. This drink is especially beneficial for those who feel sluggish after sleep, as well as for those sensitive to weather changes. Buckwheat, especially sprouted, provides the body with lightness and satiety in the morning. Sprouted grains are rich in enzymes, B vitamins, and magnesium. To prepare, soak the grains overnight in cold water, rinse in the morning, and consume raw or lightly simmered in water. For the elderly, this food helps lower blood sugar levels, improves heart function, and has a beneficial effect on blood vessels. You can add a little kefir or honey for a light and nutritious breakfast. Dried mulberry is a forgotten Eastern product that provides energy in the morning without a sharp rise in blood sugar levels. Just a handful of these berries contains iron, calcium, and natural sugars that nourish the brain and do not cause sudden insulin spikes. In the traditions of Buddhist monks, dried mulberry was ground into powder and added to a decoction of 5 morning seeds. This decoction was prepared as follows: half a teaspoon each of sesame, poppy, flax, pumpkin, and sunflower seeds were poured into 2 cups of water, boiled over low heat for 10 minutes. Mulberry was added, and steeped for another 5. The result was a thick, rich infusion that supported the body's strength and endurance. Morning consumption of acacia honey is not just a way to enjoy sweetness, but also a natural remedy for health and energy boost. This type of honey has a gentler effect on the pancreas compared to other types. It is also beneficial for high stomach acidity and helps restore vocal cords. It is recommended to consume it dissolved in warm water or by eating half a teaspoon without drinking anything afterward. A combination of honey with a few drops of aloe juice is considered particularly beneficial. This recipe was used in Chinese temples to strengthen breathing and improve mental clarity before morning practices. Green buckwheat with kefir is a simple, time-tested recipe that remains a classic for restoring normal digestive function. Simply pour a couple of tablespoons of raw green buckwheat with kefir in the evening, and in the morning, you will have a thick mass rich in probiotics, fiber, and protein. This mixture gently cleanses the body, normalizes blood sugar levels, improves skin condition, and helps with constipation. It is suitable even for those with sensitive stomachs. It is important to choose kefir without additives and with moderate fat content. For those who feel cold in the morning, especially during the cold season, an excellent choice would be an ancient Buddhist decoction based on dried ginger, cinnamon, and astragalus root. Take 1 teaspoon of each ingredient, pour 2 cups of water, bring to a boil, and simmer over low heat for 20 minutes. This drink awakens vital forces, helps eliminate stagnation in the lower abdomen, and warms from within. In temples, it was often offered to elderly monks before morning meditations, not only to awaken the body, but also to create a feeling of inner warmth. Each of these products is simple, accessible, and yet has a significant health effect, especially with regular use. The main thing is to listen to your body, consciously introduce products into your diet, and not rush. For the elderly, pumpkin puree is a very useful morning product, especially when prepared without added sugar and salt. Pumpkin is rich in beta-carotene, which is converted into vitamin A, beneficial for vision, skin, and mucous membranes. In addition, it contains a lot of potassium, which supports heart function and regulates blood pressure. In the morning, it is recommended to eat a few spoonfuls of warm puree with a little ghee. Healthy morning habits for the elderly. Healthy morning foods. Pumpkin seed oil is one of the morning foods that can benefit the elderly. In addition to its warming effect, it promotes gentle bowel cleansing. In Tibetan monasteries, pumpkin was considered a symbol of longevity and was regularly included in the morning menu for senior monks. Dates are a sweet but healthy product, especially if you choose soft varieties without added sugar. They are rich in iron, magnesium, calcium, and amino acids. In the morning, it is enough for an elderly person to eat 2 or 3 dates to stimulate brain activity and maintain blood sugar levels without sharp fluctuations. In Iranian medicine, dates were often combined with almond milk. This drink, called memory milk, was given to elders to strengthen mental clarity and vigor. Almonds, especially if soaked overnight and peeled in the morning, become a real treasure trove of vitamins and healthy fats. They contain vitamin E, which slows down cell aging, and magnesium, which helps relax blood vessels and improve sleep. Consuming 5 to 6 nuts on an empty stomach in the morning can be an excellent addition to your morning routine, especially if you don't plan to have breakfast right away. Ancient Vedic texts stated that almonds nourish the nerve channels and help with recovery after a hard day or illness. One of the most interesting and rare morning foods is moringa powder, a plant known as the tree of life in India. Its leaves are rich in protein, antioxidants, vitamins A, C, and K, as well as calcium. Older adults can add half a teaspoon of moringa powder to warm water or kefir. It helps with arthritis, reduces inflammation, improves digestion, and normalizes blood sugar levels. In Buddhist schools in South Asia, moringa was used as a recovery aid after fasting practices because it gently replenishes strength without overloading the stomach. A beneficial option for morning nutrition is millet porridge cooked in water with the addition of flaxseed oil. Millet is gluten-free, making it easily digestible and preventing inflammatory reactions. It is rich in silicon, which strengthens blood vessels, and is beneficial for those prone to edema, as it has a diuretic effect. Flaxseed oil is added to the cooked porridge. It saturates the body with omega-3 fatty acids, which are particularly important for brain and joint function. This breakfast provides a feeling of fullness and lightness at the same time. Among the old recipes, a special place is occupied by a decoction of fenugreek and coriander. This concoction was actively used in Buddhist monasteries in Nepal for those suffering from cold extremities, morning sluggishness, and weakness. To prepare this healing drink, take 1 teaspoon each of fenugreek and coriander seeds. Pour 2 cups of water and simmer over low heat for 10 minutes. Strain and drink warm. If there are no contraindications, you can add a little honey. This decoction gently cleanses the liver, stimulates digestion, and gives the body warmth and stability. Another morning food that deserves attention is sauerkraut in moderation. 2 tablespoons on an empty stomach or during breakfast provide the body with probiotics, support the acid-base balance, and activate the production of gastric juice. Homemade sauerkraut, prepared without vinegar and sugar, is particularly beneficial. In Roman culture, cabbage was believed to strengthen the will and cleanse the inner fires. Perhaps this referred to restoring inner balance. Chia seeds, pre-soaked overnight in water or coconut milk, turn into a nutritious gel in the morning, rich in fiber, protein, and omega-3 fatty acids. They promote regular bowel movements, lower cholesterol levels, and increase endurance. Teas with berries and a spoonful of yogurt are especially beneficial for older adults. This creates a light but nutritious breakfast that doesn't overload the stomach, but provides a boost of energy and mental clarity for the whole day. For a caffeine-free energy boost, a chicory drink is recommended. It does not have a stimulating effect on the nervous system like caffeine, but improves blood flow to the brain, supports liver function, and helps with weak digestion. Hot chicory with a drop of ghee or almond milk can be a great start to the day, especially with a pinch of nutmeg. This aroma enhances the feeling of vigor and awakens the senses. An interesting and underrated food for morning nutrition in old age is the cedar nut. These tiny seeds contain a significant amount of vitamin E, fatty acids, magnesium, and zinc, which support immunity, improve cerebral circulation, and promote the restoration of the nervous system. 1 tablespoon of shelled nuts in the morning, added to porridge or eaten separately, is sufficient. In ancient Siberian traditions, cedar oil was considered living fire, capable of warming internal organs and strengthening the heart. Starting the day can be truly beneficial by including regular figs in the morning diet. It is recommended to soak them in water overnight and eat 2 or 3 softened fruits in the morning. Figs have a mild cleansing effect on the intestines, help with constipation, normalize blood pressure, and enrich the body with potassium. The sweetness of figs is due to easily digestible natural sugars, not regular sugar, which nourishes the brain. In the era of ancient Egypt, figs were included in the diet of elders as a means to prolong life and maintain mental clarity. A wonderful addition to the morning meal is black cumin, especially in the form of an infusion. To prepare it, pour 1 teaspoon of seeds with a glass of hot water and let it steep for about 15 minutes. This infusion helps improve digestion, activates metabolism, and supports normal liver function. In Arabic medicine, black cumin was called a cure for all ailments except death, and it was especially recommended for elderly people during periods of decline and recovery from illness. Sprouted green buckwheat, consumed raw rather than cooked, contains live enzymes, amino acids, and B vitamins that are lost during heat treatment. To prepare it, soak the buckwheat in water overnight, then rinse and eat it plain or with yogurt, fruit, or honey. This living food provides a feeling of lightness and satiety. In Chinese monasteries, green buckwheat was offered to elders to maintain mental clarity and preserve joint health. Oatmeal cooked in water with cinnamon is another excellent breakfast option. It gently coats the stomach, nourishes the body, and helps maintain stable blood sugar levels. Cinnamon stimulates blood circulation and improves insulin sensitivity. This breakfast is especially beneficial for people with type 2 diabetes or a predisposition to blood sugar fluctuations. In old Russian medical books, oat broth with cinnamon and honey was used as a remedy for weakness and brain fog. A less common but beneficial morning food is dried apricots soaked in warm water. 3 to 4 halves of dried apricots soaked overnight absorb moisture and become soft and juicy. They can be eaten immediately or mixed with nuts. Dried apricots are rich in potassium, beneficial for the heart, improve intestinal peristalsis, and provide the body with natural sugars. In ancient Persian practice, dried apricots were called sun in food and used medicinally to strengthen the heart and improve mood. Consider the ancient Buddhist morning decoction used by monks in the Himalayas. It requires only 5 ingredients: dried ginger, cinnamon, fennel seeds, licorice root, and a few dried rose petals. Take half a teaspoon of each ingredient, pour 2 cups of water over them, and simmer over low heat for about 10 minutes. Then strain the infusion and drink it warm, in small sips. This decoction helps get rid of morning sleepiness, improves mood, warms the body, stimulates digestion, and has a beneficial effect on the lungs and heart. The monks called it the morning breath of clarity. Pumpkin seeds are another source of benefits for the elderly. They are rich in zinc, which is important for the immune system, and fatty acids, which are beneficial for the brain. Eating 1 tablespoon of peeled seeds in the morning supports prostate health in men and hormonal balance in women. In the Mexican tradition, pumpkin seeds were considered a sacred food for elders, especially during periods of fatigue and in cold weather. Don't forget about natural oat kissel, prepared according to an old Russian recipe. It is made from fermented oat flakes, steeped in water for 1 to 2 days, then strained and boiled until thickened. This kissel cleanses the liver, improves pancreatic function, and normalizes cholesterol and blood sugar levels. It can be drunk warm with a little butter or honey. This drink not only nourishes, but also protects the gastric mucosa, especially in cases of gastritis or heartburn. In Japanese culture, a morning method known as suidan, or water awakening, is widely used. The essence is simple. After waking up, a person slowly washes their face with cool water, then takes a sip of warm water into their mouth and rinses without swallowing. This action awakens the salivary glands, starts digestion, and activates nerve endings. After that, the Japanese drink 1 to 2 glasses of warm water, sitting straight and calmly, doing this slowly, in small sips. This approach was part of the daily ritual of the samurai, as it was believed that water and breathing set the tone for the body and spirit for the whole day. In Chinese medicine, special importance is attached to awakening the body, which is achieved through breathing exercises and massage. One practice is massage known as the 100 strokes. Immediately after waking up, a person lightly pats their whole body with their palms, starting from the head and ending with the feet. This procedure activates the circulation of qi energy, improves blood circulation and lymph flow, reduces swelling, and eliminates morning stiffness. Ancient treatises indicated that this method serves as protection against morning stagnation and promotes the preservation of youthful skin and clarity of mind. It is especially useful for the elderly, who often face the problem of cold extremities and a weak capillary network. From the Buddhist tradition comes a method that monks called silent eating. The essence of the practice is to eat morning food in silence, fully focusing on each piece and the sensations arising in the body. Surprisingly, in this state, the body better absorbs food, anxiety decreases, and the tendency to overeat disappears. Eating in silence becomes a kind of meditation. Even ordinary rice with warm water fills the body with energy. In monasteries, this approach was used as a way to recover from illnesses and mental exhaustion. An interesting product widely used in Asian countries is miso. This is a paste made from fermented soybeans, sometimes with the addition of rice or barley. A light soup is prepared from it in the mornings, which saturates but does not overload the stomach. Miso is rich in probiotics, B vitamins, and protein. For the elderly, it is a gentle way to awaken digestion and strengthen the intestinal microflora. In Japan, it is believed that a morning bowl of miso soup prolongs life, especially when combined with a small amount of seaweed and warm green tea. Speaking of tea, it is worth noting that in Chinese villages, old-timers started their morning with an infusion of lotus leaves, or pu'er. Lotus soothes the heart, cleanses the liver, and lowers blood pressure. Pu'er, especially aged, helps digest fatty foods, lowers cholesterol, and gently invigorates without causing tremors or rapid pulse, like coffee. It is noteworthy that Chinese herbalists advise brewing pu'er twice in the morning, using the first brew for rinsing the mouth and the second for drinking. It is believed that this promotes cleansing of the mind and awakening of the spirit. In Tibetan culture, there is a traditional drink that is prepared from heated water, yak butter, and black tea. This drink has the ability to saturate, provide warmth, maintain mental clarity, and have a positive effect on joint diseases. In high-altitude conditions, this drink was vital, but in everyday life, it can benefit the elderly suffering from insufficient body weight, poor appetite, and a tendency to feel internal cold. At home, ghee can be used instead of yak butter. It is recommended to drink this tea in small sips, slowly, turning it into a morning ritual. Another interesting way to take care of yourself in the morning is a warm compress on the liver area. In China and Tibet, it was believed that the liver is an organ active in the morning hours, and if it receives warmth, gentle massage, or a warming compress at this time, its functioning will improve throughout the day. For this, a warm cloth soaked in a decoction of wormwood or chamomile is used. This method helps with chronic fatigue, sleep disorders, anxiety, and digestive problems. From the Indian practice of Ayurveda, you can draw the idea of a morning drink with turmeric. Water with a pinch of turmeric and a drop of oil is a simple way to activate metabolism, relieve inflammation, support joint health, and strengthen the immune system. In old recipes, this drink was often supplemented with warm milk or ginger, especially in cold seasons. Turmeric was considered the golden sun for internal organs and was recommended for those who feel lethargic or slow to wake up. Among the products, glutinous rice is of interest. It is often used in morning dishes in China and Japan. It is boiled to a porridge-like state, adding a little ginger, garlic, or even red dates. This rice is easily digestible, gives a long feeling of fullness, and does not irritate the stomach. In Chinese medicine, it is believed to strengthen the spleen and stomach, gives qi energy, and is well suited for the elderly, especially in the season of humidity and cold. An unusual but useful method is walking barefoot on the morning grass. In Japanese villages, elderly people go out into the garden for a few minutes and slowly walk through the dew. This not only awakens the nerve endings on the feet, but also helps to balance pressure, improves coordination, strengthens the arch of the foot, and gives the body a sense of connection with the earth. Ancient texts said that dew is the breath of the earth, and if you touch it in the morning, you can feel younger. In Japan, there is another curious method of healing, Reiki Taiso, which literally translates as awakening gymnastics. This is a simple set of movements that is practiced immediately after waking up, without getting out of bed. It includes stretching the fingers and toes, rotating the feet, and smooth turns of the head and shoulders. These exercises stimulate blood circulation, activate nerve endings, and help the body smoothly transition into an active state without unnecessary stress. This method is especially useful for the elderly, who often suffer from morning dizziness or stiffness in the joints. In Japanese families, it is believed that even 5 minutes of Reiki Taiso can reduce the risk of falls and energize for the whole day. In China, especially in regions where the connection with traditional medicine is still alive, the so-called tea of immortality is often consumed in the mornings. This is an infusion of ginkgo biloba, goji berries, and astragalus root. This drink strengthens memory, supports the health of blood vessels and the heart, and also stimulates the lungs. Ginkgo improves microcirculation in the brain. Goji saturates the body with antioxidants, and astragalus is considered a tonic for longevity. This beverage is brewed in the evening and drunk warm on an empty stomach in the morning, in small sips. It is especially beneficial for older adults experiencing headaches, hearing loss, or decreased concentration. Ancient Buddhists used a rather unusual method to prepare for a new day: mindful walking. A monk would begin the day with a slow pace, synchronized with their breathing. 2 steps on the inhale, 3 on the exhale. This exercise was performed in silence, with all attention focused on the sensation of the ground beneath their feet and the air in their lungs. This practice not only trains breathing and coordination, but also acts as a meditation, improving emotional state and reducing internal tension. For the elderly, this can be a gentle way to strengthen leg muscles, improve balance, and find a sense of calm first thing in the morning. One of the favorite foods in Japanese morning culture is natto, fermented soybeans with a very specific smell and texture. Despite its unusual taste, natto is a treasure trove of vitamin K2, which is important for bone and vascular health. It also contains enzymes that improve digestion and reduce the level of thrombin in the blood, which reduces the risk of strokes and heart attacks. Natto is often eaten with rice, green onions, and a drop of soy sauce. In the morning, it's a great way to nourish the body with protein and support the intestinal microflora. In China, there is another morning ritual that involves warming the lower abdomen with a heating pad or salt pack. This method is especially recommended for those who suffer from chronic fatigue, digestive problems, or urinary system disorders. In Chinese medicine, the area below the navel is considered a repository of vital energy. Warming this area in the morning helps activate the kidneys and spleen, improve metabolism, and even stabilize emotional state. It is recommended to perform the procedure lying down in silence for 10 to 15 minutes. In Tibetan medicine, a special place is given to a morning decoction called water of great tranquility. To prepare it, take a pinch each of dried mint, chamomile, licorice root, and rose petals. All ingredients are poured with hot water, infused under a lid for 15 minutes, and then drunk warm, preferably sitting by a window or in a garden. This drink has a calming effect on the nervous system, provides a gentle awakening without excessive excitement, improves digestion, and helps cope with anxious thoughts. It was often given to elderly monks to maintain mental clarity and physical vigor in high-altitude conditions. Do not forget about fermented products, such as kimchi or Japanese tsukemono. Pickled vegetables, often served with rice, are rich in probiotics and enzymes that help improve intestinal microflora. In the morning, a small portion of these products can significantly improve the process of digestion and increase the absorption of nutrients. They are especially useful for those who have reduced production of gastric juice, which is often observed with age. Of particular interest is the Tibetan practice of morning body rubbing, with a special oil made from yak ghee and sandalwood powder. This oil is rubbed into the feet, palms, and chest area, activating points that in Eastern medicine are considered gateways of energy. This ritual warms the body, improves blood circulation, relieves internal tension, and even lifts the mood. Nowadays, yak can be replaced with high-quality ghee, and sandalwood with lavender or clary sage essential oil. This is especially useful for people with low body temperature, sluggish blood flow, and a tendency to chronic fatigue. Another interesting method used by Buddhist monks in Tibet was known as the 7 touches of breath. Immediately after waking up, the monk would assume the lotus position, close their eyes, and take 7 slow breaths, focusing on the sensations in the nose and chest. This simple ritual started the nervous system, lowered blood pressure, and prepared the body for daytime activity without stress. Nowadays, such breathing practices are especially useful for older people who often experience anxiety, pressure drops, or sleep problems. Breathing restores the balance between the sympathetic and parasympathetic systems and improves overall well-being in just 5 minutes. In the Japanese village of Okinawa, home to one of the largest communities of long livers in the world, miso soup is often eaten in the morning. This broth, based on fermented soybean paste, with the addition of wakame seaweed, green onions, and pieces of tofu, is not only rich in protein, but also improves intestinal microflora thanks to probiotics. Miso contains isoflavones that support hormonal balance and help maintain bone density. In addition, such a soup gently warms the body from the inside, which is especially important in adulthood when metabolism slows down. It's important that soup is warm, not hot. It's then better absorbed and doesn't irritate the stomach lining. From China comes a morning scraping massage method called gua sha. It uses a plate made of jade or buffalo horn and is performed on the skin of the neck, face, and upper chest. This massage helps to disperse lymph, eliminate stagnation, activate blood circulation, and relieve morning puffiness. It's especially effective for chronic fatigue, headaches, and neck tension. Even 5 minutes of this exposure in the morning gives a feeling of freshness, vigor, and improved skin tone. It's noted that regular use of gua sha helps to reduce the level of inflammation in the body, which is extremely important in old age. Among the morning products that can be found in traditional Chinese medicine, it is worth noting porridge made from black sesame seeds and rice. This breakfast is rich in calcium, magnesium, iron, and B vitamins. Black sesame is considered one of the key products for strengthening the kidneys, which in Chinese medicine are responsible for vitality and longevity. The porridge is prepared simply. One part of black sesame is roasted until fragrant, then ground into a paste and cooked with rice water to a thick consistency. It is eaten warm, sometimes with honey or dates. This breakfast is excellent for nourishing, does not overload the stomach, and maintains energy until lunch. In ancient times, Buddhist monks living in the Himalayas began their day with a healing drink, an infusion of sage, ginger, and dried tulasi leaves, a plant revered as sacred and resembling basil in appearance. This decoction, they believed, helped cleanse the respiratory tract, strengthen the immune system, and improve heart function. To prepare the infusion, a small handful of each component was taken, poured with hot water, and left to infuse for 10 minutes. It was supposed to be drunk in small sips, without adding sugar or honey, in silence and solitude. It was believed that this infusion harmonizes internal energy, calms the mind, and helps to maintain vigor throughout the day. Nowadays, this healing drink is easy to prepare at home, and it is especially useful for elderly people suffering from bronchial problems, frequent inflammations, or weakened immunity. Morning washing with rice water was a common practice among Japanese long-livers. After washing the rice before cooking, the first water was not poured out but carefully stored in a cool place until morning. It was this water that was used to wash the face and neck. Rice water is rich in B vitamins, antioxidants, and starch, which gently cleanses and moisturizes the skin. Washing with rice water helps reduce inflammation, smooth out fine wrinkles, and give the skin a healthy glow. This simple practice with regular use gives visible results. The skin becomes more elastic, dense, and the face looks fresher. It is especially suitable for those who avoid aggressive cosmetics, but strive to take care of themselves in adulthood. The Japanese practice of shichifuku, which translates to 7 fortunes, often began with a small cup of green matcha tea. But it was not drunk in the way that is now accepted, not as a fashionable drink with milk, but as a subtle and thoughtful ritual. Matcha was whisked with a bamboo brush in a bowl with warm water and drunk slowly, in complete silence, focusing on the taste. Matcha contains a large number of antioxidants, in particular catechins, which slow down the aging process of cells, improve memory, and support heart health. This tea not only invigorates, it gives clarity of mind and a sense of presence in the present moment, which is especially valuable in adulthood, when it is important to maintain mindfulness and psycho-emotional